Okay.
So,
yeah, I'm going to record. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I thought if I could traverse it in a way that also, say if I archive the project after 6 months, but then the data is still there and relevant, so I could always go back to it. So that was kind of what I was thinking.
What would you do if you went back to it?
So
you're right, by the way.
Yeah. So a good example for me would be at the minute I'm learning a new technology for work. I work in IT, and it would be to learn the technology. I think I could grasp really quickly, but then I think even over the next 5 to 10 years, I would use it. And I think there'll be times where I'm going, oh God, how did I do that? And I just want that, almost that conversation with myself to get back to that piece of data. Yeah. And that's
what if you block reference that and made that and captured a fleeting note on that?
This is exactly what I was thinking about. So kind of like, but what this was really what I was thinking though. So say it's quite technical data, but I would say that would sit in the fleeting note, and then it would be really, I was thinking actually just like the top level overview, and then probably just like straight into a permanent note, right? Because there wouldn't be a literature note, and there would be references definitely for certain stuff. There would be links to websites, but I kind of probably answering my own question. It probably is that simple, right? It probably just is sit it all in the fleeting note, and then create the permanent note, right?
Yeah. Well, and also it's like, say you have this Project Zettelkasten, right? And say, you archive it and, you use it for like, a year, and then you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this project, right?
Yeah.
And then say, 2 years later, you're like, oh shit, there was this one thing about that note. And then you go back to that Project Zettelkasten and you find that one note, and maybe it's not even at the permanent note, right? In the Project Zettelkasten, maybe it's not even at that top level. Maybe it's like a fleeting note idea that you had, right? All you need to do is block reference that little fleeting note from your Project Zettelkasten, make that the source of a new fleeting note for your main Zettelkasten. Okay. And this is blowing my mind. This is meta on meta on meta. And because it's a formidable dialogue partner, by the time you build out a Zettelkasten, like Lumen wasn't even doing reference notes. It's like, no, he was just thinking and his dialogue partner was formidable enough. So you don't have to do all the references and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So he would just add a note. This is how he was able to do 6 a day. Because sometimes he would skip the reference note. He would skip the literature note. He would just go fleeting note, permanent note. I know exactly where this goes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. But that makes sense.
And the next thing I'm going to say is that you're asking me how you do a Project Zettelkasten, and I'm going to tell you, you've already been doing it.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I show you?
Yeah, sure.
So this, I'll do a timestamp actually.
Yeah, cool.
Right? Oops. Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to just do current time. I'll tab that over, right? I'm going to Control O to go into the block. So this is basically a structure.
Yep.
Right? And you look at this structure and you're like, this is my permanent note structure, fleeting note summary, literature note summary, reference note at the top, and your crystallized thought here. Okay? Yep. Now, the reason that you need permanent notes right here is because how do you create the new permanent note? You don't create the new permanent note here. You actually, shift click on this to open it up in the sidebar, find where it's located, and then you do tab new note, right?
Yep.
And you do that because this is just ease of workflow. And I thought about that. I thought that's probably the best way to do it. So if you have permanent note here, there's more friction. So what happens if I change this to, I don't know, project note?
Right. Okay, cool.
Right? And then if I shift click on this, oh, look, there's my Project Zettelkasten.
Get you. Okay.
Well, hold on, but we're not done. Okay. What if you don't even need this? Right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But what if you don't even need a reference? What if it's just journal entries?
Okay,
right? But what if it's not even that? What if you just want like just your ideas?
I get you. Okay.
And then, but then, yeah, you know what I mean? And then you're like,
okay.
And then you go, this project note is about, okay, cherish everything in life, right? And this is just, this is just Lydia, right? I'm thinking about Lydia right now.
Yeah.
And you go in here and you just go, let's do Lydia, and we'll do cherish.
So, okay.
And you can write whatever the hell you want over here. You can write anything here.
Okay.
Right?
Perfect. Yeah.
But can I also show you something else? You've actually been doing this structure from the very beginning. So look at all the work that you've done. Look at all this 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 work. I'm on day 11. I'm still scrolling, right? But I want to show you something. Look at this structure. What does that look like?
It's perfect. Yeah.
If this was your daily notes page, and this was your top level parent block, would this be a Project Zettelkasten structure? Is this a Zettelkasten structure? I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, cool. Okay, sick. Okay.
And you've been practicing it for the last 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So when you ask me what is, let's go to my Project Zettelkasten, right? And I go, what is this?
Yeah, you've got all the stuff on it. Yeah, sick. Okay.
This is all it is.
And then
this is all it is.
But would you just template? I mean, I think you would. So you would just template the like how we do a fleeting note and has like you would just do the same, but you would change the permanent note to whatever the project is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would just go to Rome CSS or whatever. I should probably do that too, huh? I should probably add like, hey, here's a Project Zettelkasten CSS tag. You know what I mean?
So it looks the same. Perfect. Yeah. Because I think for me that is what always looks weird in my own personal one, and also actually my own personal one. It drives me mental. But I'm going to try and copy the CSS from the Rainbow. When I do reference notes, it has like these big brackets. But I think it's some other CSS that I must have added in at some point. But it's actually horrible. Yeah. So instead of seeing like your beautiful reference note, relevant notes, they've all got these massive, like, because you've block ref them, you've got this like massive brackets. Honestly, it drives me mad. But yeah, I'll import that. Okay, brilliant. Okay,
this is all it is.
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing is, if I go into my Project Zettelkasten, it has the exact same structure.
And this is what I've been finding amazing, and for me would be perfect actually for my stuff. And that was what I was trying to think in my head was.
So see this right here? What happens if I copy that block reference, right?
Yeah, yes.
And I go to my daily notes page, and I'm like, this is my reference note.
Oh, crazy.
And then I'm like,
you're referencing back
here capture a meta permanent note. Okay? But guess where this goes?
That's to my Project Zettelkasten. I love it. That is exactly the use case I would use.
But that's not yeah. It's like one of these blocks. It's one of my process notes. But it's like, that's what I mean. This is the power of it, man. And you already know how to do it. You've already been doing it.
Fuck, that's actually sick. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. But I think that was, because kind of was just at that point where it's so beautiful, the structure, and I can find everything I want, which is kind of the whole premise, right? You kind of ask the question and you can find it. But I think for me, what was been most impactful is the relevant notes and how you structure it, because I've never seen anything like that actually, because I'm quite new to Rain. But like when you open it in the permanent note tab on the right, I'm like, holy shit! Like straight away I can see the connections. I don't need to I don't even need to traverse it. I can just literally open it and then go, oh shit. And then I go on that and then open that. And I'm on, and then, oh, I want more detail. I just get it in the left pane. Oh, yeah, for me, it was, yeah, it was kind of crazy. But I thought from a work perspective, it's really, everything connects, but everything doesn't connect. But I was kind of like, I would like to, when I'm on topic A, actually, what does that relate to? And it was like I was doing them, to be honest, like it through week 7 to 14, I was doing this really difficult 1 week. I was doing like 15-hour blocks of work to get this piece of work done. And I'd put everything into our own database. And then I got to the end of it and I was like, I just can't find how they link together. I've got it all in like pages. I can probably, I'm just going to like transfer it in properly, like what you've just shown. But it was like, I've done so much work and then actually it's pointless because there's no relevance to any of the levels. And then I was trying to use like metadata, which I think was just a total waste of time as well. Yeah. I think
can I say something? This was an aha moment that I had, right? So let me share the screen.
Yeah, sure.
So how Rome's fuzzy search in the search bar works is it's by most used, most activity, most links, right?
Okay.
And so if I go Mozart, right?
Yeah.
And I click on that, do I even need to have like brackets around Mozart?
This is,
Does that make sense? Because
no, this is it. This is where I've got to actually, I've literally got to it recently, and I don't want to link anything because it's like what you just did.
no,
I was just doing on my notes.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because everything is a child block of the node that's being so because the relationship is descendants.
Yeah.
If the parent block is linked multiple times, and what's at the very top? The very top is relevant nodes. So if the relevant node is linked multiple times, which it is, then the very first word that you find is going to be the most used.
Yeah.
And it's fuzzy search, so you don't even need to do brackets.
Joke shit. Yeah. I love it. And also I think for me, like doing everything in the daily notes page and then like with the timestamps, holy shit, my database just looks clean now. Like it's so fucking clean. And I do like morning journal in it as well. But then I've also just took out all the tags because I could just find it. Because I just block refed it to one item and then it counts them. So it's kind of easy. Yeah.
Can I show you something?
Okay.
I'm not talking shit. Okay. I'm just showing you something.
Wow.
This is Rome Collective's graph.
Right.
I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
And
do you know what's going on?
Isn't the CSS confusing on your eyes as well? Like, fuck.
Well, how do you find anything?
This is light bulb moment for me because this is what everyone promotes, right? Is this like meta tagging, and it's just, you know.
Find something for me. I want you to find something for me, right? Compare this, right, to this.
Yeah, I just using the search function or going into permanent notes where
if I need to go in, if I need to go in, it's all there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
so, but that has got me thinking though. So I started to use Rewise recently, quite like it, but it fills my graph with shit. So I was looking yesterday actually, and I looked at like all the link references, and you know, because of all the meta tags, it kind of.
I'm gonna
almost.
Talk to me because I'm gonna talk to Tristan tomorrow.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I was thinking, I guess what I could do though is just strip out all of the tags in the config, and then it would just import as like maybe just like hashtag Rewise, so it doesn't try and link the author, the URL, and all that crap.
Well, couldn't you also just have all of that metadata here, 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 here? with highlights, because it doesn't matter if it lives here, right? You can still find it, but it's gone. You know what I mean?
That's
it's hidden.
But what I've been doing is, so if you open the reference note up, you see where you've got metadata and then you've got here.
Yeah.
What all I'm doing now is block referencing the highlights. So like
I get what you're saying.
Section.
Yeah.
But what I mean is when it imports it, holy shit, like it has author as an attribute, URL as an attribute, book as an attribute, and it's actually pissing me off because I don't really use those tags. I don't use queries because I don't really like them. So actually I might just strip those out. And then this is one thing I was thinking with the workflow stuff was, I think the key for me with the workflow is, say I've read it, so I've read my book, I've highlighted it, read-wise imported it. What I need to do is create that fleeting note now, right? And then tag it in as the reference note, because what I've noticed is, I think because the way it dumps it's pointless. You've got this massive like churn of all your highlights, but it's just pointless because you don't know why you highlighted that at the moment, right? So I think this is the one key thing I've been thinking about quite a bit with the workflow is that I need to do it as I'm having that thought, which is the whole point in a fleeting note. And I think
do what?
So capture the current thought that I'm having.
How?
So yeah, I think for me, I just want to capture the thought or the question I'm asking of the text I'm reading, if that kind of makes sense. So kind of say I'm reading about making it stick at the moment and I'm reading about elaboration. At that current moment, I'm asking a question. I'm asking, why is that relevant to me? Or what do I want from that? I think I need to make that fleeting note at that moment, right? So then I can come back to it. But I think I also need to.
You have to, by the way. You have to.
Yeah.
That's a fleeting thought. If you don't capture that moment when it's happening, it's gone.
Yeah. And that absolutely is what I've realized literally last couple of days, because when I come back to my highlights, I'm like, well, why did I highlight it?
So let me ask you this. What tools do you have around you as you're reading a book? How are you consuming the content? Like, these are the questions you need to ask yourself, looking at your daily habits, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What tools do you have next to you? Do you have a phone, an iPad, a laptop, an iWatch, or anything?
Yeah, so I have an Apple Watch, but I'm in a situation where I work from home at the moment because of COVID and we're in lockdown. I also have like my own home gym. It's terrible, but in the back of the garage. So all the stuff I can do, I have stuff available all the time. So I have my iPad Pro available, my watch, my phone, my laptop. So I kind of have started to now, like when I'm in the gym, I listen to Audible and then I sync it to Kindle with my iPad. So then that's where I'm starting to make notes. But what we were talking about yesterday kind of blew my mind. I tried it yesterday, was Otter. Holy shit, like this could be life-changing for me, because I super like, I've been dyslexic my whole life. So it's been difficult. Whereas this is just read to it and it creates that first.
Link to the free month right here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I added a page right here, the last pieces. And this is just going to be resources of all the different things you can use. There's a free month here. This is a link to Zotero in Rome. And then Cortex Futura, I'm going to have a video with him this week as well. And then I'm going to meet with Tristan, talk to him. Maybe he can simplify things. But, let me just show you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, but I think for me, and this is one thing I think is, I don't think it's difficult, but I think needs to be, I want to say frictionless, is the capture of notes, a fleeting note. And I think
that has to be the most frictionless. That one has to be the most, like, basically you want it to where, because this is what happens, right? There was one time when I had to remember, so I had a Siri shortcut, right? That I had to actually verbalize the timestamp.
Mm-hmm.
And it fucked me up. Literally just saying the numbers 3652 they made me forget it. But
forget the thought.
But if I wrote 35:52, I was fine, and I can go straight into it. So that's how ephemeral a fleeting note is. And so if you don't capture it in that moment, like that's it's like it's like your whole world passing you by.
Yeah.
And if you don't capture that, it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
And you have to have that capturing of the fleeting note as the most frictionless thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for me, March, I think there's two things I like is, one is either capturing it with, say, Otter, because it's instant, right? That was quite nice for me. But I think the other one is physically just writing it on a notepad, like, because I can always reference back to that thought, and because it's in my own words. But then I think what I did want to look at, and that's what I wrote quite a lot about in my sort of daily page yesterday, was how to then get back to the reference note, if that makes sense. But and it was when you were talking to Glenn yesterday, and you were talking about kind of, you create that shortcut which timestamped it, and that's something that I was thinking actually changes it, because I can instantly get back to my, say I'm listening to Audible, I can get back to that timestamp, and I know my thought was off that timestamp. So yeah, and I realized that was, I think there's the two key aspects, is one is capturing the fleeting note, but then it's how do you get back to your reference note? Because if you can't, then actually, was there any point in bookmarking, taking a highlight, taking a screenshot of the screen? Yeah.
This is also why if you look at the structure of this, what's here? I have one spot for here and one spot for here. That's how important they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to be able to go back to this
and get it straight. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And listen, I wrestled with that. You're gonna have to wrestle with that. You're gonna have to figure that out. That's your path. But like, be creative. Like, maybe, if you have your phone on you or your iPad with you, all you need to do is open up the podcast website or Audible book, screenshot it, and it has it has the timestamp right there. Email that to you right after you capture your fleeting note. You gotta just screenshot it, but really the most important thing is capturing the fleeting note, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But capture the fleeting note and then screenshot it and then email it to yourself, set it and forget it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And so I did have a question on Otter. So like when you're thinking and it just kind of goes to the next line, is it just, I feel like I just want to have a conversation with it, right? Like, because it's like going to be myself. But I just wondered if you had any kind of, I don't want to say tips, but do you deliberately make a pause to create kind of the next line? So then when you do bring it into your fleeting note, oh, okay, cool.
This is my, you hear it?
No.
I don't hear it either.
No, it's fine.
I don't hear it either. So basically, hold on, I got an idea.
And then you just export it to text. And Bo, what do you link to? Do you link to the actual recording then? You don't just paste the text?
Hold on. So this, I have the Otter recording is the link to the Otter link itself, to this page here.
Okay.
And then this is to the YouTube clip, timestamped.
Yep.
Right. And then this is going to be the audio recording. Let me see if I can pull this up on my own end. I don't think it's going to play.
It's no problem.
Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Equilibrated state to storyline, not only function necessarily, but to.
Yeah. I've got two of them going. Here you go. It's again. Ready? Can you hear it? Do you hear echo?
Yeah.
To present a whole being to society, it takes of working.
Yeah.
What I did. Okay. Do you hear what I did? So I stopped. Like as the audio recording was going, I listened back to what the YouTube clip was, and then I jumped back into the auto recording.
Makes sense.
I kept on recording.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think my litmus test of a fleeting note is that at the end of it, I go, that's fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I know I've captured my fleeting note. If at the end of it, it's almost like, when you're abstracting out your fleeting note, sometimes you're like, fuck, oh my God, I just had an aha moment. That's how I know I've gotten to it.
Yeah.
And so some of these are going to be much longer. This is what, like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
But some of them are like 5 minutes. And so what I do now is I go back, and when I'm doing my second pass, I go back here, I listen back to the audio recording, right? And then I enter. I go, okay, that's one. Okay, this is another.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another.
This one. Yeah.
And this is another. So I've got my top level parent blocks. So now I go in here and I abstract.
Yeah, and you've just pasted that from the export from text, right?
From Otter. Yeah, well, I hired an assistant to copy all this over.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not super seamless as I was hoping Readwise could pull it in, but
no, I mean, and listen, I've reached out to Simon, who works at Otter. He's the VP of Otter, and I've been on long Twitter threads with him, and it's like there's not a way unless API is dropped. And I looked at it like, I think the best way to do it, it would be just hiring, like go on Fiverr or Upwork, pay someone $20 a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe that lives somewhere, you know what I mean? And and honestly, you could even just do like a fake shared graph. If you're scared about security, create a fake shared graph, have them import it in, and then you have 2 tabs open, you just drag it over. You know what I'm saying? That way there's no security involved.
I could do that, create a second graph, give them access to that second graph, and actually it's just they paste it into the daily note.
And or they don't even they paste it to the captured page.
So
basically,
so you actually want it in that format. Yeah.
I only want 12. I don't want more than 12. Like this makes me not want to work on it.
I started to notice that as well. Yeah, but Oh, I realized we're over time there. Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, cool. That makes sense to me. Perfect.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, legendary. Yeah, super.
Any other questions, bro?
No, get some sleep, man.
No, I mean, do you have to go?
No.
No, I'm fine.
No. Okay, cool.
Let's keep going. We're on roll. I'm recording this. I want to post this to the group as well, so they can get the like. There's too much nuance. There's way too much nuance in regards to like. I was talking to Martha about this, right? Basically, I had everything very constrained in the first couple of weeks. That's because there wasn't much wiggle room. Once we got into the permanent notes, like you saw, like a permanent note can literally live anywhere.
Yeah.
And you can use any index. How am I supposed to explain that? It's impossible. And then now you're going into personalized workflow. It's gotten even more complex, or it's gotten even more variable, because what you need is going to be different than what Martha needs, than what Brother Spirit's going to need, what Curtis is going to need. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was something for me, I think, and this, I'm sure you'll know this, but it's obviously workflows trial and error, right, for me. So it was like yesterday, I give like Otter a bit of a whirl, and actually it was good. But what I need to do is like, I kind of can see a lot of my workflows. It's just like trial and error. And actually, if I can get to a point where, because I feel like there's 5 main ways I'll capture, and if I can make that seamless, then I think actually like building your own Zettelkasten is going to be just a piece, like not like just a piece of piss, but getting the fleeting
No,
note in and the
no,
reference
it is.
note. Yeah.
It is a piece of
Yeah.
cake.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Do you know how?
And that-
do you know how good it feels to go? I'm ready to work. Do you know how good it feels just to go? I'm ready to work.
Yeah.
Shift click on the captured page. Current time. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to work. Everything is here, ready for me to work.
Would you always just pick the top one so you're not processing what you want to do? Or
yeah, I mean, I told my assistant to just have chronologically oldest to newest. So oldest is always going to be at the top.
Okay, because I find myself sometimes opening them, find the one I want to process, which is probably not the best thing, because then you end up leaving all the stuff you don't want to process, right? But yeah, that's it.
When you capture a fleeting note, you should really get, if you're going to write it out, make sure you have enough of that context there. So like, if I look at this note, this is from December 9th.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's 3 months ago.
Straight back to it. Yeah.
I could process this with you right now.
Yeah. Sick.
You know what I'm saying? Why?
Yeah.
Because of this. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Why do you think I can process this now? Because I got to the wow. I got to the fuck. I got to the shit. You know what I mean?
Let's fucking do this.
Yeah. Because that's the aha. And if I didn't get to that point, then I'm not capturing anything. I'm highlighting again.
And isn't that, but that is literally what I start to realize, right? Is you capture too much crap, right? And actually, so say you're on a podcast, there's probably 2 ideas or 2 concepts that literally just break your mind, right? That's what I want to be capturing, not every 10 seconds, tick, 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 tick. Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like,
I'm just
like this is it right here. I was listening to Brian Cox on the Joe Rogan.
It's amazing.
But it was like that's my fleeting note. But it was one moment. You know what I mean? It's like 5 minutes, 43 seconds in.
Yeah.
Like I know, like there's that one moment where it's just like everything, and really what it is, I'm thinking about all the things that are already in my Zettelkasten too. And I'm like, oh, this one relates to this. Capture this.
Yeah.
That's the conversation partner. That's the communication.
Yeah.
And then you realize that's actually you.
Yeah. And I think what I love, and that this is all right. I mean, I've only got like 7 notes of our personal Zettelkasten, but I think because you're always coming back to it with relevant notes, the way you tag stuff, holy shit, like it's literally spacing, right? It's literally like spacing and
like space repetition, you mean?
Space repetition,
yes,
So like and it's and also so obviously like really to make it stick about how to learn, it's retrieval, because it's kind of like, well, what was I thinking at that time? And you're reliving that conversation, but you're living it at a different point in your time, which is what I love. So it's like, God, you made that note when you had that thought, but yet now you've got different knowledge, different experience. So actually you're having a conversation with really a different person, right? It's pretty crazy.
Have you watched that video with Sonke?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
No, this one. Let's go to the live session here. I think it was this one with the articles. No, that's not it. It's the one. There's a Sonke video. Here we go. This one.
Okay.
This one right here.
Yes. Yeah. This is where I got the making it stick reference as well. Yeah.
And he talked about crazy. Everything from bottom up structure.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like this right here. You know what I mean?
But you know, like when I watch this video though, and then people ask like, oh, but isn't it mind mapping? And it just made me literally realize that he's almost got an impossible task, right? Because for us to understand that, okay, so we spent 3, 4, 5 weeks solid doing it, right? He's trying to present it in an hour, like to students, they're just not going to see the value of it, right? And obviously, imagine if you showed our share graph, right? people would just instantly click, right? They'd be like, holy shit, like this is what a Zettelkasten is. But I feel like he's such an amazing piece of work he's done, but it's so difficult to, you're going to have an hour to explain it to people. It's rough, right? I think it's really a tough ask, actually. And I think I can see kind of why, not like he would get frustrated with it, but I think it's almost, it's so difficult to explain, right? You just need to live it. You just need to do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Discouraging.
Yeah. Yeah.
And luckily enough, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, listen, it's really my personality. My personality is I really don't give a shit, you know? And because I don't give a shit, it's all that, the same thing that he went through, I was going through.
Yeah.
You know, and I still get so much flack. But they don't know it. They haven't done it. They haven't written it. They haven't seen the structure. They haven't seen what we're seeing here. Yeah. And they probably never will. You know, but it's like, you know, maybe the sun isn't revolving around the earth. I don't know, but I might have to go to the stake for it. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, you know? Yeah. So I think anything worth doing is worth standing up for. And this is something worth standing up for. Yeah.
And I mean, God, like when you see the structure you've created, comparison to other people's graphs I've seen and also my own personal one, like I can't traverse that. It's a fucking nightmare. But as soon as I started building this, you've got it in the right hand pane and you're always having that same conversation with your Zettelkasten. So I don't know. I kind of feel like I just want everything. Kind of. That's why I was after the front. Yeah, like I want everything in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can. Yeah. You can.
Yeah.
Your journal thoughts, your goals, your relationships, your CRM, all of that. You can do it all like that.
Yeah.
And look how many notes we're at too. I mean, we're pretty heavy here, man. This is nearly 200 notes, dude. I stopped counting. But like, look at this. I'm just gonna keep scrolling, like, you know, or let me expand everything. But look at this.
But here's a quick question though. Sorry, on traversing this now. Is there? This is gonna probably sound stupid, right? But yesterday I was writing a note on but I was after trial and error. And I was just looking for like those words. Is there a way of just searching? Because this is massive now, isn't it? Right. So I'm going through everything, opening all the points. And it was great because I'm having that. But I also just wondered, like, is there a quicker way of just almost getting to something that isn't in the Zettelkasten? So then oh, actually, I need to start that new conversation. Or is it really that? I guess you're actually trying to traverse it, right, to see if there is that already that conversation, right? Yeah.
But the thing is, these aren't your words.
Yeah.
This is just to show you what 150 notes looks like.
Yeah.
This is your words.
Yeah.
You know, and when it's in your words, I remember this. The seeking behavior of paying attention gives us the ability to see outside our own cage of. I remember writing this. This was my birthday. September 4th was my birthday. I'm going to go back to that date. I remember writing this. Do I remember all the ideas? No, I have no idea. But I remember writing this.
I get you. Yeah. So that answers my question actually, because I think when you're traversing your own Zettelkasten, I literally know where the conversation is. Yeah.
Look how much has changed too. Like, look at this.
Oh my God, but you see what you're doing now? This is what I started doing the other day, the attribute stuff. And then it's just pointless, right?
Yeah, but this is how I started. And I look back at this and I go, this isn't strong enough.
I see.
I still did the relevant notes though. I only had 2, but you know what I mean? It's like, this is all work in progress. And it's like, I was figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, there's never a time where more to do with the linking of relevant note. I don't think this is relevant, but is there ever a time you will go back to the permanent note and add in additional relevant notes once it's
good. That's a good question. That's a good question, right? And you would want to add more relevant notes because you want it to be connected, right?
This is because one of my key main ones that I put in at the moment, I feel like, because it's the first note, but over my lifetime, it probably would be referenced like 100,000 times.
This is my first note. This is my very first note. Everything is still linked.
This is the way the relevant notes were. Yeah, fuck. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Need to go. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter what you link when you make it. It's what you link to it after. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I've seen this, but it was when you've got a small, I've got like 7 notes. It felt like, oh my God, yeah, that's actually.
Look at this.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you know, I don't even know what this is. Okay. That was actually my second note. No, this is my first note. This is my very first note. September 2nd, 2020.
Yeah, okay.
Right? I had no relevant notes underneath it.
Wow.
Right?
Isn't this amazing to look back at though?
Yeah, I think, yeah. and then, but all of this is connected, right? And I can jump to this. I can jump to, let's do this one. This one has a shit ton of relevant notes. And it has the correct structure. I was missing reference notes here. See, look at this is how I know. If I have wow at the end of it on my fleeting notes, I'm doing something right.
Oh shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I think that's definitely key, isn't it? Is abstracting for you an aha moment of wow, holy shit, this is epic, as opposed to I'm capturing a note for the sake of capturing it.
Exactly.
Cool. Sick.
I'm just looking for all the wows. Sorry. No, because I mean, look at it. That's fascinating. You know what I mean? It's like, this is fun because I remember these notes, dude. You know?
It's crazy, yeah. And it's
so,
God, it's so easy to then build.
But it's
say you do an article.
Yeah.
It's so easy now, isn't it? Shit, you just plot reference.
Oh my God, man. I made 100 tweets without even writing a single word. Okay.
Yeah.
And I did it on the fly. I had an outline. And it was going to be, what the fuck is a Zettelkasten, right? But I completely threw that away. And I said, let's just do something else. Let's do Zettelkasten, but let's talk about this.
Yeah, I watched that video. I was like, what the fuck? And for me, like, this is what I was literally thinking about, like, work is that, say sometimes I need to create an article, but I literally could just go send it off.
By the way, September 2nd, 2020 was my first permanent note, right? Let's look at the latest one. I think it might be artificial intelligence. December 2nd. September, October, November, December. 3 months to hit 120 notes, critical mass, and this feeling of relief. That's all it takes. That's it.
Get the work in. Yeah, get the work in. Yeah.
You know?
Okay, perfect.
And
thank you, bro.
Man, it's life-changing, bro.
Yeah, I can see that already. It's fundamentally life-changing, right? Yeah.
Look. All of my fleeting notes it has to get to that point, dude. That's how I know I've captured this fleeting note right, you know? It's like, I'm just gonna keep looking. Fucking genius. Wow. You know, like for that I'm grateful. You know, it's just, this is an amazing thing, man. And I'm just grateful that I get to share this with you guys. And yeah, I think you said it, right? You know, it's like, it's building legacies.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that was you. Was that you? I think that was you.
Yesterday. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's what this is. We're building legacies, man. And it's, if I can be the one that sparks that fire.
You know,
there's no way I can reach as many people as, you know, other people's reaching other people. You know what I mean? That's what I
Agree, yeah.
want. I want to make an impact in this world. And it's like, yeah, that legacy is part of it, man. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to see 3 months from now, your critical mass. You know what I mean?
But honestly, this is mad. I literally woke up this morning. I thought, I can't wait in a year. Even though I don't use Twitter, I'll tweet you what it looks like. And I just thought, like, holy shit, it's actually epic to think that what it will look like in a year, but then imagine it 10, 15, 20, 30 years. It's unbelievable. Right? I appreciate it. But yeah,
and it's not just Rome. It's not just Rome. It's just the technology of blocks, which Athens has, LockSec has. I think Remnote might have it as well. There's new technology. It's like Excel spreadsheets. You know what I mean? It's all it is the technology of the block. Where does that make sense? So you don't have to worry 20 years from now of losing it, because all it is this. It's the block. That's all it is. And that technology, guess what? It's technology.
Yeah.
It's like a cell phone. Guess what? It gets copied.
Yeah, I guess. But this, You
know what I mean? So don't worry about losing it if anything happens to Rome, because you can do the same thing in this or that or that. It's just the block. Rome was the first one to be able to Rome was the first one to show this technology to the world, where people like started using it.
Yeah.
You can't do this in Markdown. You can't do this in Obsidian.
To us, I've never used any sort of tools like this. So just being able to reference back is life changing. But I think you have to do it in the right manner, like with the relevant notes, the reference notes, linking that. If you can't get back to the data, what's the point? Like, what is the point in it?
Let me show you what I mean by that. What I mean that, it's this technology. It's this idea here, right? So this is a block. This is a block. This is a block, right? And then this is a block as well. So if I copy this block ID, right, and I create another block down here, and I paste this block here.
Yeah.
So now what I have is I have this information, copy this block reference here, right? Yeah. So this block, but the thing is, I can add more information to this block.
Expanding the block each
right?
time. Yeah.
And now I have two pieces of information in this one block. That's like the index and the permanent note, right? But what happens if I do this? What if I can add more ideas to this block? So what if I take this, copy this block reference, right? And I go down here and even more, adding more notes to the block. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, that's epic. Yeah.
Well, I think I can do a better example, but
this.
I think you get what I'm saying, is that I can have one piece of information here.
Yeah. Yeah, it keeps expanding. Yeah.
And so this has two pieces of information. This has two pieces of information. And then I can step back over here and add this piece of information.
Yeah.
And then guess what? This has a block reference too.
But this is kind of like this bit here you show me now is literally what I've been struggling with recently, and I only just got it. And this one, that's why I was kind of asking about the project stuff, was I've already got this data. I just want to reference it. And it's kind of like, that's what I wasn't doing, kind of pasting stuff in. And actually, I just need to reference back to the data, carry on with it, expand it, make it into a permanent note. And like you say, reference back 6 months. Yeah, then you might make a permanent note your actual Zettelkasten, not your project, because it's fully relevant at that point. Yeah, it's mind blowing.
I felt it click too.
Cool. All right, Bo. Super. Yeah. It's epic. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. And listen, I hope I've provided enough hope for you and the rest of the group here that it's just 3 months. You can do anything for 3 months.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit that critical mass of notes, that burden of note taking and learning, it just goes away. And there's this
Yeah.
ease about everything, man.
Yeah. And but everything you're doing is fundamentally key learning actions, fundamental. So everything you're doing, you're actually learning it anyway, right? So there is absolutely like some people, oh, it's so difficult, times can all this bullshit, right? But at the end of the day, you're learning. Like say I'm learning Rome anyway, right? So you're going to do it anyway. So just fucking do it, right? Just create what you need to create. Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, like I think it's such, yeah, the way you've built it, it's such an amazing way of continually learning, continually spacing your information, having that conversation back with yourself, which is what I love. Actually, I think that's for me is the best aspect of it. But yeah, but I think you couldn't have done this without the book club. I think if you'd have done this in our YouTube video, I would have been like, "What the fuck's going on?" Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Can I add one thing to that? Is that these are the basics and the fundamentals. Wait until you start using queries.
Yeah.
Like imagine this. Imagine you had a query that was querying your permanent notes. And so if you were looking for a specific permanent note that you wrote 10 years ago and you've got 1,200 permanent notes, there's no way you can find 1,200 permanent notes, right? But then you go into Rome and you just write a little query. It'll have everything related to that with all the children blocks underneath. You see what I'm saying? And this is why it's unbreakable.
Yeah.
Is because
keep
it as simple as possible. When the complexity arises, then you can solve it.
Yeah, sick. Okay, Rainbow. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, yeah.
So, do you have everything you need in regards to? Okay, you're ready. You're ready to start your own personal Zettelkasten.
Yeah.
You're figuring out what that personalized, frictionless workflow is to capture, to process, where it's going to be stored, what tools you have around you. And you have an accountability partner to keep you going to at least to your first 50. DM me if you don't have anyone, but do find someone in the community that can help you as well.
Okay, I'll try and reach out to someone.
You know what I'm saying?
No problem.
Just that's what worked with me. You know, those tools right there, and then you're set.
Super. I can't wait. Yeah, super excited. Thanks so much.
Awesome, David. I'll talk to you later, man.
Okay, cheers. Bye. All right, bye.
That was a solid meeting, man. Hey, here's looking at you.